out talking to you about Tom Brady because the guy has been lights out since he came back from his 4-game Deflategate suspension. And I know you were someone who sort of had an asterisk next to Tom Brady in terms of his legacy. I'm curious if his play now, post-Deflategate, has changed your opinion at all on how Tom Brady will go down in history and how his legacy is now shaped.
No, none whatsoever. I mean, I think you can easily separate the two. I predicted that Tom Brady would come back and play this well. I think he's still one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, if not the best quarterback in NFL history. But that doesn't mean that he didn't, that Deflategate didn't happen or that this scheme didn't happen. I think you can easily separate the two. That didn't really factor into my opinion of him as a player. And, him coming back and playing as well as he had, like I said, doesn't surprise me, especially because, as I wrote many times, the Bears' decision to trade Martellus Bennett to the Patriots was probably the biggest trade, the most impactful trade or move by any team in the league in the offseason because, I know Rob Gronkowski's had, some injury problems, but, with Gronkowski and Bennett, that was a tight end pass catching combination that was going to be impossible to stop, especially with a quarterback as good as Brady. So, he was going to come back to this loaded offense, and I think you'd be a fool to think that to have ever thought that he was going to struggle or the Patriots were going to struggle when he was coming back from the suspension. And not only that, but he was going to be motivated too by, to give a middle finger basically to Goodell and the NFL and everybody that everybody that thought he was guilty, in Deflategate. So, I think this is totally predictable. And, like I said, it doesn't change my opinion on his, guilt in Deflategate at all.
Certainly, he does have the pieces around him. Hopefully, for Patriots fans, Rob Gronkowski will be back soon. But what I mean is not so much whether or not people's opinions will have changed of whether or not he's guilty, but that there looks like there really was no competitive advantage if he was guilty. But that doesn't mean somebody didn't do it. I mean, it's like, just because, not all performance-enhancing drugs work, but that doesn't mean that, that the people didn't take it, but didn't take them just because it didn't have an effect, To me, there's ample evidence that something went on. And so, it doesn't, like I said, I can easily separate those two things because, I still think, like I said, Deflategate aside, I still think that Brady's one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, if not the best.